Welcome to another episode of Motherhood and Career with GlobalKemi.
Started though. From that place, I did my PGD, my postgraduate. There, I started my masters. And I started improving a lot of things in that place, a lot of things in that place.
While also having time for your baby.
My kid, my baby. So I take her to school, we talk as we go to school. When we're coming back, I pick her, we go back to the office, we talk. So that relationship, ah, I never knew why God was doing this. And you will see the effect of all these things. All this, I want to go this way, and God bringing me back and say, stay here. It may be a lonely place, just stay here. You will see the effect as we go on, because I will tell you the effect of it.
Hmm.
So I was with my daughter, we grew together. We grew up together, I teach her things, you know. Like I said, there are some things I shouldn't be saying. Some people should not practice it though.
Hmm.
You know, my child started fasting at 18 months.
Wow.
When we fast in the year in our church. So when I take her to school, I tell her teacher, please let her fast till from 7, let her fast till 9 o'clock. And please, she knows what to say. Just take her to a corner and tell her, let her do all that. Don't worry, God understands it. The school at first said, no, no. I said, don't bring that. Don't bring it. She has to do it. When
Hmm.
she was 2 years old, we graduated to 10 o'clock in the morning. She will break at 10. And then we start graduating, we graduated. Until she was 6, and one day she called me and said, Mommy, I can try this. I can try it, oh, Mommy. I can do 6 p.m. And she tried it, and she did 6 p.m.
Wow.
And that was how we started. So I didn't get any. I was just there, and I was still applying, believing God
Hmm.
until 6 years. I got
Wow.
the first job. Six
Six.
years. I stayed
Wow.
6 years. Within
Wow.
that 6 years, I had my first daughter, and then my second child came also. Two of them. 6 years. So when that 6 years came, I got that interview, and it was a big break. I told God, I said,
Wow.
excuse me, sir, are you sure? Because I said, are you sure you want me to break? I said, it's time to break out. It's time to go out.
Hmm.
And when I stepped out, and God has not stopped since I stepped out, though, it has
Havaya.
been higher, 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 higher.
Hmm.
Kemi, my daughter, my first daughter, left home at age 15 to a country she never knew. When we were preparing her for university, she said we should allow her to go and pray about it.
Hmm.
She said she left home. She went to a Christian school. So she left home. She said, I want to go on 7 days fasting. Let me hear what God is saying. When I come back, I will tell you whether God wants me to go abroad or not. When she came back,
At 15.
yes, she came back and she said, God said it's time to move. And God told her the country she will go to. And I said, Omo, where are we going to get that money from? That school fees from? God told you. He said that was what God told me at the 7 days fasting retreat I went for.
Hmm.
If God has told you and He has not told us, especially me, God must tell me. She said, unfortunately, our relationship with God is different.
Wow.
Mommy, you will hear God, and God has the prerogative to tell you whatever He wants to tell you. It's not by force.
Wow.
He's not going to, you are not going to force yourself on God to tell you. God told me what He wanted me to hear, and I've heard it. The next thing is for God to begin to prove it, whether it is true. So let's leave it to for proving. I said, okay, bring it on.
Wow.
Let's leave it for proving. Let's leave it for proving. Bring it on. My dear, we left it for proving. Oh. School fees came. Dollars in dollars. I didn't earn dollar, oh, but school fees came. We paid. She left home at 15 into a country we've never been to. And people kept asking, even in church, they said, this girl is she's older than her age. That is
Mm.
the essence of why God kept me for 6
6
years,
years.
not moving, not
Mm.
moving. I look at other my colleagues, I see them and I get jealous. I say, "Ah, oh God, when are you going to do this? Is this no when they say God has plan for people, is this the plan you have to be
Mm.
grounded with all the big dreams I have? Okay?
With
Look
masters.
at with masters and PGD. I said, look at people's suits. When I see them spend money, I'm like, with 10,000 naira, where I go, where is the money going to come from? 10,000 naira.
Mm.
And then when they confirmed it, they changed it to 12,000 naira.
Ah,
Yes, so yes, yes. But you know what?
wow.
Without stealing, without compromising faith, without disappointing God and bringing God to shame,
Mm.
school fees came. We paid. When she got to school, and they said, okay, so we saw in your account that your parents they were just transferring $100, $100, 100. Why are they transferring that? They said, she said she told them, I'm a proud Nigerian. I don't know what you've heard about Nigeria, but my own parents don't steal. We will pay it as we have it. And said they told her, okay, you know what? You've never done this, but we'll do it for you. Ask your parents, let them tell us how they want to pay. We will agree.
Wow.
That was how the school structured our school fees. We paid. She
God really
finished.
proved it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
God did. He proved it. She finished her high school. She got a scholarship, a special scholarship.
Wow.
My dear, that's why I said to you that I don't like telling these stories because it's adverse to theories of life.
Mm-hmm.
It's adverse.
Hey.
I don't like telling it,
Wow.
but sometimes when the Holy Spirit tells me, say it. Let them. I say it look as
Actually,
if I'm.
mommy, we need
I
to
said,
hear it.
yeah, I said it look as if I'm not serious. I said, say it.
Mm.
And life, and again, I don't understand my life. Oh, I'm still trying to understand it. And I'm not saying people should not plan, but everything me I plan, everything brings me back to the place of God. And I said,
Mm.
as soon as I have come with the plan, this is it. This is what people are doing outside, sir. That I see them do, and it's working for them, sir.
Mm.
Me, I have done it, but I'm bringing it, and God will look at it and say, "It's working for this good." But this is what you would. I say, why is it that me I cannot do what other people are doing?
Mm.
What is working for people? I must bring my own here, eh? And then you have to look at it and ratify it like we take something to the board for ratification. It's okay, Sha. But
But
seriously,
mommy, how did you cope during that 6 years? Because it is easy to understand now that the result is everywhere. That it was evident that God was preparing you for
mm,
such a time as this, those period of that 6 years. But I know that it would not be funny. You would have probably had series of why me? God, is
mm-hmm.
this what you promised? How did you maintain that? Because I'll call it also a waiting period. How
Yes.
did you
So
manage it?
Kemi, I did not manage it though. I disappointed myself. Sometimes I cry. I will tell God, see me, sir, kí and tẹ̀ Eh? Why? In fact, one day I told God, I said, you've decided to make me a lab rat, right? To be using for experiment. I'm telling you, I told you earlier in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to God like I'm talking to. If you are not in, if you're outside where I'm talking, you will think I'm talking to somebody. I said, excuse me, sir. I now understand. So don't ask me how did I navigate it.
Hmm.
I didn't navigate it. He held my hand in it and told me, excuse me, I will carry you through it. It wasn't
Hmm.
funny because I couldn't stand, so to say, where other people, were standing.
Understand.
I couldn't declare to say this is what I've gathered. What have I gathered with 10,000 naira now? What will I gather? Yes, my
Hmm.
husband is working, but another story of God. So that one will say to you. In fact, sometimes I used to say to him that, is it that God prepared you for this thing? Because the way you react to issues, he doesn't react the way I react. He will tell you,
Hmm.
when those things come, he will tell you, this is part of our growth. I
Wow.
said, how can this be part of? He said, it's part of our growth. That don't worry, oh, Muji, you don't understand it. You see, in front, you will
Hmm.
understand it.
Hmm.
Nothing has ever moved him. And one day I told him, I said, you are older than your age. Where did you learn all these things? I said, what is it? How old are you to me? The difference is not much now. Why are you behaving like my daddy?
Hmm.
Why are you behaving like ancient of days, as if you have wisdom to everything? There's nothing that I said that react to. He has opposite reactions. He will tell you, don't look at it that way. I said, what is it?
Hmm.
He will tell you, if you calm down, you don't understand it now. And that is, God doesn't want you to understand it now. I said, Muji, if we have decided to run this race with God, it takes patience to work with God. Oh. God is
Hmm.
not a magician. He doesn't do bru, 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 like fire pan fire. No.
Hmm.
God is a long haul God. There are things that are happening in your life now that He won't explain to you, that doesn't make sense. You don't understand it. He knows why that is happening. He knows why He's exposing you to that thing. All you
Hmm.
need to do is trust the process. Be patient.
Hmm.
Let's move ahead. And he used to say, the water you will drink will never flow past you.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes, it was tough. Even during the period, we had people stay with us in our house.
Wow.
We had family members that we are sponsoring. That 10,000 naira. Sometimes when I finish cooking and I dish out food, I can dish like 8, 9 plates.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you know what? God, when I go to the market, as I'm going, I will say, Lord, I will place the money. I told you everything is good. I will
Mhm.
put the money on the table. I say, excuse me, sir, I'm going to the market. This money, I don't know what you can buy, but as I go, sir, bless this money.
Hmm.
That's what I do. Oh. Then I'll go to the market. Then when I come back, and when I get to the market, I get unusual favor,
Hmm.
pricing. When I bring the food in, I will say, Lord, this is the food. I'll put it on the kitchen table. I say, excuse me, sir, this is the food. These are the things I bought. Bless it. Let it not finish, oh,
Hmm.
until another money comes. One day, and that's what God has done. One day, I was putting my hand in one of our jars to pack, I think, one of the food items to cook. Then I was saying, ha, this thing is going down already with all these people in our house. What are we going? And the Holy Spirit told me, don't stop looking into the jar. Just put
Hmm.
your hand and pack whatever you need to pack. Because you are seeing it, your senses is interpreting what you are seeing there. Don't look
Hmm.
into it. You're afraid. Don't look into it. You just go there and pick what you need to pick and cook. I say,
Hmm.
And since then, once I go there, I don't know whether it is half full or it is the quarter. I just go there. If it's garri I want to pack, I pack. If it's beans, I pack. If it's rice, I pack. So how did I navigate it? As a human being, I didn't navigate it well.
Hmm.
Because I used to tell myself, that you have decided to make me a lab rat on this earth, on this
Hmm.
journey. And that was when, for the first time, I had that
Hmm.
voice, that quotation I gave you early in the conversation, that God is not a waster.
Hmm.
The Holy Spirit, one of the days I was saying, Lord, you have decided to make me a lab rat, Abby. Prayer request, you will not hear. What other people do, and it works for them. I must bring my own here to be ratified. And still, you will not allow it to go the other way other people are doing it. You have made me a lab rat. And then I had that quotation. He said, God is not a waster.
Hmm.
If he has brought you here, he needs you for something. You need to be patient. What he needs you for, you may not even know it.
Hmm.
You are not aware of it. Don't forget, it doesn't need to bring you into any conversation. You are not in any advisory role to him. He
Hmm.
doesn't need to consult you. If he has brought you here, there is need for you. All you need to
Hmm.
do, like my husband used to say, trust the process.
Hmm.
Be patient. Working with God requires patience. I say, He said, God is not a waster. He won't come here, he won't bring you here and waste you. Even if
Hmm.
you have decided to make you a lab rat, it will be a good lab rat. People will learn with you, do experiments with you, and the outcome will be good. People will start looking for you as the raw material for their experiment when God is done with you. If that's
Hmm.
all you want to hear. I say, God is not he said God is not a waster. And I've held on to that quotation.
Hmm.
God is not a waster. If he has brought you here, he will use you. But
Hmm.
something about it is, it is not the place of, you are not in advisory role to him. Nobody is his advisor.
Hmm.
You can't advise him and say, this is how you must do it. He knows what to do. Your own is calm down. If
Hmm.
he has decided this is where you should stay in the next 7 years, stay at that space. But you know what? When your time comes,
Aye. Hmm.
Babalaku ẹnìkan ò lè stop it. Nobody can stop it.
Hmm.
When that waiting time is over and is ready to launch you, he will
Oh
launch
yeah.
you big.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
telling you,
Aye.
he did it.
Hey.
So
Hmm.
ask me, how did I navigate it? It wasn't smooth. But again, God gave me a good friend who could hear God and would say, Moji, leave it. Let's just follow. Don't worry. I said, but we
Hmm.
don't we don't know we don't know where this is taking us. I said, you don't need to know. Just enjoy it. You know, when you enjoy pain,
Hmm.
when you get enjoyment from pain,
Hmm.
my husband will tell you, just follow. I said, but I said, no, I'm a scientific person. I want to know if I start something, I want to know what I'm expecting. I want to know the outcome.
Mhm.
The reason I do that is so that I can manage conversation, manage expectation, manage ups and lows. But with God, when you are working with God, hello,
Hmm.
you will not know you don't know the end. You only know where you're only aware of where you are part
There you
time.
are
You
right
don't
now.
even know the next seconds what will happen.
Hmm.
But you see what takes you through that space is trusting God. Trust him.
Hmm.
Just trust the process.
Hmm. Thank
And
you,
ask him for
mommy.
grace to be patient. A lot of you see, we don't
Hmm.
that one. I need to
Hey.
shout it. I need to shout it.
Hmm.
Patience.
Hmm.
Patience. God is not your uncle. He's not your schoolboy. You can't order him around. God is not under target. Oh.
Hmm.
Mm-mm. Nobody is giving him targets. God is not in a rush. He's not pressed for time. Eh. Hey, he owns time. And he uses
Mhm.
it for his own advantage and the advantage of people that love him.
Hmm.
So, going
Hmm.
through that space, it was a bit tough. I use the word a bit because I wouldn't say it was tough. It was a bit. Why? God gave me a good friend who when I'm complaining and saying, you will just say, but you know, God is not like that.
Mm,
Don't allow your situation to color the way you see him. He is not like that. Let's be patient. If God says what he has created us for is to stay on that space forever, won't you stay there? Didn't you
mm,
say he created us for his pleasure?
mm,
If his pleasure is to see you just be a lab rat for him, let him use you for different experiments. And seriously,
mm,
GlobalKemi, God has used me for different experiments too.
mm,
Mm. But you know what? He always pays. He pay. No,
mm,
he's a good boss. God is a good. He's
mm,
the best boss to work for and work with.
mm, mm,
Mm. For all those experiments, if they are true experiments, like I say, I call them. He pays. He doesn't owe.
mm, mm.
He
Ah,
doesn't.
Mommy, this is a lot. Like, I myself would have to listen to this again and again because
Oh.
it's as though you have wrapped up everything that I want to ask. Like, if you look at it, Mommy, I understand that it might a lot of time we say, oh, your generation is different from our generation, the Gen Z and everything. But
Mm,
I've come to realize that God's processes is the same.
mm.
The way God does his thing is the same. If looking through that 6 years, ha, hey, I cannot even imagine. Because it's another thing when you probably feel like, oh, maybe I don't have the qualification that I need to have to attain this. And the fact that you would have people looking at you, you go to church, even in your church, you see people that are maybe they're even dressing, they will definitely be dressing better than you because you are only earning 10,000 during that period. It will look like is has God forsaken me? What is really happening? The fact that you have a master's, you have a PhD, all those things are enough for you to like get one of the best during that period of your time in one of the best fairs, maybe top tier one and everything. And it looks like God was just keeping you for that season. I'm going to come back to when you got the job and how the whole story changed. But you mentioned something and I wouldn't want to forget. You mentioned some of the things that you instilled in your children that later metamorphosed to how God like took over their life, and even on their own at age 15 they're already communicating with God. They started fasting early. I want you to actually address that what are those things, those maybe disciplines or cultures that you cultivated in your home that really helped that your children are actually obedient to God. Because mommy, the age and time that we are now, raising children in this generation now, it's actually a lot to wrap our head about. Like even we ourselves, it looks like, oh, our own, even my own parents raising me was still like small compared to what is happening, especially those that are maybe some of people that are watching this from US, Canada, UK, and the fact that a lot of things are already now perverse in our own generation as touching kids. There are so many things going on. What are those disciplines that helped you during your period that we can cultivate for this season?
Okay, so like I said, the 6 years, looking back now, I think there are a lot of things got packed into that 6 years of staying
Mm,
back. Is There's so many things. I've never in retrospect gone back to look at it, but talking this morning, I just want to unpack the 6 years. There are a lot of things in there. So in the 6 years, I believe there are things that God did,
mm,
prepared me for outside, prepared the children, prepared the future in
mm,
just that 6 years. So what are those things? We're raising children now. You raise children by example.
mm,
For example, let me give you an example. Why raising my first girl? Because she stayed longer with me. When I'm praying, She doesn't cry.
Hmm.
I don't know why. I think she just understands that this woman is praying.
Hmm.
And when I'm praying, yes, there are times that when I pray, I'm going to give you, I'm going to tell you something when I finish this.
Okay.
As a child, you need something when she's coming, maybe she's on the bed, I kneel down and I'm praying. I just put my hand on her just to be sure, to give her sure that I'm here.
Hmm.
Did that for little time. And so when I'm praying, she doesn't cry, even if she's hungry. Now as she grows, I think at age 2, there was a time I knelt down and I was praying. And she came into the room, she saw me, she wanted to ask for something. So she knelt down beside me too and put her head on the bed. She was also doing that. Later, she slept off. And from then, anytime I'm praying, she doesn't come to call me to say, I need something. Or she will tell people when they come into her, she will say, my mommy is praying. And she
Hmm.
will not. She will not come out until she's done. So even if she's hungry, that time even if she was hungry, she knows I won't answer. She knows I will not answer. So she kneels down beside me there and we pray together. She may sleep
Hmm.
off there. So she's learned more by seeing what I do than talking. Than talking. That is one. Number two thing I do again is since she has not learned how to read at the early age, I will paraphrase the scriptures and tell her one Bible verse per week. And if at the end of the week you're able to tell me that is a gift,
Hmm.
she started cramming, memorizing the scriptures. Memorizing the scriptures. And don't forget, I told you when fasting season comes in church, she enters into it. Though. She gets into it. If her parents in church were asking me, how did you raise this guy? I said, I did not raise anything. Don't let me even attribute what is not mine to me. I did not. How is happening? Me also, I don't understand it.
Hmm.
My daughter stopped wearing diaper before age 1.
Wow.
Yes, because I trained her. I said, "Excuse me, on 10,000 naira, there's no way I can continue buying diaper, and I'm not going to use napkin." So I potty trained her. Bought one beautiful potty that looked like a beetle. So she loves that potty. It's a beetle. It was a beetle car. She loves sitting on. It was a big beetle car. And she loves sitting on it. So she knows that you cannot be bedwetting. So before she was 1, I started buying pants. And I would tell her, Iteoluwa Kishi, when you want to go to toilet, you go to toilet or you call me. You cannot wee on this pants. Yeah. Did it happen few times? Yes, it happened few times. But from then on, she owned it. She gained ownership over her body. And she knows that she cannot wee. Again, I won't say it was just smooth like that. It is God helping me. God knows that it's 10,000 naira. What
Hmm.
am I going? It's 10,000 naira. Oh. Ah. So even God joined me in raising that girl. 10,000 naira. Sorry. It's 10,000 naira. How far with that bar go?
Hmm.
Eh? So even God will help me to tell her to touch her body and say, if you wish, your mommy will beat you. So it is that 6 years that I was with her that I wouldn't leave her at home because that was what has happened to few of my colleagues. Before their babies wake up, they have gone, and by the time they are coming back, the
Mhm.
baby has no. We wake together, pray together, we go to bed together, praying. So I think for me, for my family, God was just deliberate about everything that happened. There were pains along the way, but God is a focused person. He knows the pain will be there, but your pain is not going to deter him from doing what he wants to do. He will give you
Mm,
grace where you need to have grace, but he will do what he needs to do. So it is more of seeing what I do.
mm,
And you know what? When our sister came, she was 4.
mm,
So she started all that she's learned and see me do. She started training her sister. She will bath her sister. She will carry a stool at 4, pack all the plates, wash, turn
wow.
it down. She has seen me do it. We're at home together. When we're going home, we're talking. I'm asking her what happened in school today. Somebody did something. So what did you do? I did it. You shouldn't have done that. Maybe you should have done this. You know why? Because you're a child of God, you must be different. I called her and her sister and I told them there are things that God told me before you were born. You
Mm,
are not ordinary children. You can't do things ordinarily. And there is another thing we have in our house is to show love. So every week as she goes to school, I tell her, this week you must affect somebody, you must show love to somebody, you must show care to somebody. So as she goes to school with her things, she knows that she must look out for a child who does not have, a child who is crying, a child who is not talking to anybody, that is by herself. And she says, how are you? Why are you not playing with other children? She
mm,
tells me, because I ask her, so how many good works have you done this week? And she will tell me, oh, I shared my apple, I shared my biscuits. She will tell me those things she's done. So she will read Bible, she will go to church, but you are the first Bible she's seen.
mm,
You are the we are the first Bible she's seen. I and her dad, we are the first Bible. We won't shout, we won't, if you want to be angry with ourselves, it can't be why she's there. And if she's there, I
mhm,
will tell her, this was what daddy did, and I did not like it. And daddy will say, but I said sorry now. And you say, mommy, daddy says sorry. Then she'll put her hand and say, mommy, sorry. She put her hand on my hand and say, sorry. I say, okay. So she's learned that our parents are not angels. We will have
mm,
disagreement. But it is that it must be settled. Nobody can leave that place until it is settled. So she's learned those things. So it's more of, what she says. And that's
mm.
because she stayed home.
You see my face again. This is where today's episode is gonna end. Yeah, I know you want to hear more, but don't worry. Next week is almost here. Turn on your post notification. Don't forget to subscribe, like this post, and sure to drop a comment. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.